Hello, folks. Well, this is Miguel from the Embargo Man channel. So, how life would be more interesting. We're getting more and more to look at more like the Jetsons. All right. So I noticed when I see the latest Saint Brain episode with Justine Nazarick, and Jenna talking about Sue from the media tech, right? And how technologies change things or whatever. Okay, so what's going on in there? What came out to reality? We're like every single day when technology gets apart everything that you see in fiction, and then what is going to life is going to look more little bit by little like the Jetsons. I mean, I remember that cartoon and I know that it is, but please, this is Miguel from the Embargo Man. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button, because I know the things that was going on right there, and this is most likely what's going on with technology and all the new stuff was going on. All right, I remember one thing what's fictional. Okay, so what it is with these things, telephone, video calls. Remember the Jetsons, flying cars and all that stuff. And also the imagination also have Disney in some effect that have the right called Wheel of Fortunes, and says this is the right time of your life. I remember that. You remember that? And then it's changed. It's a great big beautiful tomorrow. That's in Disney, right? How technology evolves. And then this is one thing, it was said by GE. I would love to see Apple take over the wheel of progress. This is the great time of your life to be added on, and that would be all great. Because what happened, life imitates art, and what you see, not just the Jetsons, Star Wars, even some movies that don't come any to be futuristic or anything like that. It has its pros and cons, and let's go with the pros. All right, I mean, life could be easier than what we have seen could imagine. All right, and let's start out with everything with fictional and not so futuristic. All right, so how would these technologies that we have, all these gadgets and everything like that, how would it came true that it came all reality? All right, some of my aspects is that I see Back to the Future, the normal Back to the Future, things that a newspaper that changes. All right, that's the iPad. The next day, the news coming the next day and whatever. Back to the Future Part Two. Put it that way. The hoverboard. That's in self-tying shoe. But there's things that have evolved from Back to the Future. There's some things that evolve in other sci-fi movies like Star Wars and other stuff, and why it is. And my all-time favorite, the Jetsons. All right, this is the pros and of all these things. All right, so literally in the thing of working online during COVID and all that stuff, that there's some things from the past that evolve. Drive ins. So right, those drive-in movie theaters came back during the pandemic back in 2020. They reopened the drive-ins. That's something old-fashioned, right? Like, after all, you look at that way how technology evolve. And this is all the way that I've shared, and I have read again. I mean, the thing that you made for some of you that I have to admire, because I gonna give out shout out to Justina Zarek. And I knew that and I reopened, and it's just I have an admire to read about you again and again, how to review, have you been to your struggles, and have you been that you follow these things. And I am talking about for my personal choice of all these things that I have never have said before I go with my personal life and everything like that. I'm talking about how technology evolves and changes our lives. All right. One of my favorite things of movies to talk about, Inspector Gadget. Put it that way, Inspector Gadget, Knight Rider TV show. But it's some things. This would let's go with the pros of all these things. All right. So, the pros of all this. Let's put it. We're not gonna go to this. The Jetsons. I mean, video calling. You see Mr. Spacely and Rosie the robot. I remember Rosie the robot. And I remember how some things from the Jetsons appeared to be in real life. Video calling, things like Skype in back in, like Skype, and now we have WhatsApp and FaceTime on Apple devices, and all in between. That was video calling. Now, like we use our phones now, or our tablets, right? That's something that we got generated from the Jetsons. Robot maids. We got the Roomba. What is that? That's most likely Rosie. I mean, Rosie the robot. That's the aspects of you think about the Jetsons. You thinking about where technology goes, and most likely what I read about it, about this something very insane that is happening. The smart tub, the bathtub that you could bathe in 15 minutes. All right, it's like a capsule, or like they have found in Osaka, Japan. Most likely, I don't know how it is that you go to have this innovative tub, and this is something that I admire about how George Jetson took a bath in 15 minutes. I mean, that you have this capsule that's the modern tub, and then you put it inside the tub, and it's called the Mirai Ninjitsentuki. All right, so that is like exposed in the Osaka show, the bathtub. I mean, even though they have a promotion that it's like, let's say this is George Jetson's bathtub, put it that way. I mean, it is there. You just there and you go wash in 15 minutes, taking a bath, and this tub looks like a capsule. All right, like I don't know, with Apple you just call it the iTub. All right, there's the iTub is exposure, like the U.S. exposing with the iTub. I mean, in Japan they already have that concept of this bathtub and his relaxation. You go with here a Gregorian chant when you're taking a bath. All right, like, well, all you do is just put out some soap or something like that, shampoo or whatever, and then you get, then 15 minutes in that bathtub. I mean, that's just something that Japan has done with that. This is something of the concept of all things, right? The instant human washing machine. I just call it the futuristic bathtub. The 15 minutes instant bathtub. Like that's the main reason why is we going on to the technology. Even bathing, it would be something that, like this is the way we could bathe. We could take a shower, whatever. This is the way we that Japan has a concept of reinventing the bathtub. All right, like a capsule. You take a shower and capsule. You bathe yourself in there in 15 minutes. You're ready to bathe. You came out clean. You feeling like $1,000,000. All right, so yeah, the Mirai bathtub. You know, that's the something that came out in Japan. The Expo Show in 2025 in Japan, no, in Osaka, Japan, right? So the concept of all this, you get squeaky clean and everything like you could imagine how it is. The Roomba, there's Rosie. We might have humanoid Rosie, Richie Rich robot, everything in between. Star Wars, you guys like, and video calling. You're gonna have like Skype back in the past now, and Messenger, and then what all the other what it reached to what the Jetsons level people cannot imagine back then, back in the 1960s all the way to the 1980s. Yeah, the development of video calling, some things around there, and then later on the Roomba, and then we're gonna have Android robots that would clean. Inspector Gadget is also one that add in futuristic things, but that way in that one you have this kind of self-driving cars is also one thing, but Inspector Gadgets have been also following with the smartwatch concept. Like this is taking over this. Cell phones, in the other hand, where it is also involved from the shoe phone. Get smart, the shoe phone, all right? Out of the shoe phone, the cell phone it has come out. Everything that life imitates art. Like everything we see from a TV show, it comes out real. I don't know what other kind of new stuff coming in, right? Bathtub that looks like a capsule and you bathe in 15 minutes. All right, so that's one thing. The main thing, whoever have the Apple Watch or what is the predecessor when the Apple Watch came there. I mean, the first thing that have you talking to watch, it was Dick Tracy. Dick Tracy. I mean, I have seen the cartoons and the movie Dick Tracy have shown what would have happened, even though it's a kind of movie or comic book character. Like Dick Tracy leads to, Warren Beatty is the first one to just use the Apple Watch before anybody else, and then you have Inspector Gadget with all the other. The first thing is phone calls. Dick Tracy in his watch, he speaks in, and then I'm wearing a regular watch though. This is a Timex with a NFL, one of my favorite NFL team. Dolphins are playing right now, but that's the beauty about what's the fiction in and you see in movies and cartoons, especially like in Jetsons and all and everything in between. The main thing is the way you communicate, but the main thing in the rest of the other things, that the smartwatch like the same that with Inspector Gadget. In other ways, they have, this is where they add the other features on the phone. On the smartwatch. But other features on the smartwatch is like, Dick Tracy, the watch it works. You make a phone call on your watch. Dick Tracy and Inspector Gadget is just the other things. Same like with Knight Rider. Same like with other things that you could inspire. I don't know if the Jetsons do that. Video calling is the Jetsons thing too, like Zoom and WhatsApp and all these things that related to the Jetsons. Roomba is related to Rosie. We might soon get into the real Rosie, and most likely anything in between that we came out with movies, that everything that came out fiction and others a real at reality. Oh, Sophia the Robot and Johnny Five. Yes, I remember the Short Circuit series, just two movies with Short Circuit. Short Circuit 1, but Short Circuit 2 is this is where you revealed Sophia the robot before anything else, before Sophia the robot came out. Sophia the robot was like from a Chinese based company, Hong Kong based robot, company that made Sophia the robot, and then Sophia mentioning being the first robot to be citizen of Saudi Arabia. Or Sophia the robot that became the first robot citizen. Yeah, look at that. And we just mentioned that Sophia the robot became a citizen of Saudi Arabia. I remember the time with Johnny Five is golden. I mean, my stepdad is screaming that they were here. But Sophia the robot, that's something that we all said. But before that, we seen Johnny Five. How Johnny Five became a U.S. citizen, and he was pledged and he swore to his U.S. citizenship. I mean, Johnny Five has led the way to Sophia the robot become the first robot citizen of a country. Johnny Five as a U.S. citizen, Sophia the robot as the Saudi Arabian citizen. All right, a citizen of Saudi Arabia. It's how amazing how fiction and how art imitates reality. How life imitates art is so saying that this is how it came to be, because I noticed from myself that this is great how technology evolves and such things like that. Yeah, it's kind of strange, but let's go to the cons. The cons of technology that we have in everyday lives. So the other thing is that, I mean, there's so many things that I could go with the cons. The cons is, if I'm still working, this is the first con I'm gonna do. If I'm still working, answering phones, I'm not so bunch of answering phones, and then sometimes people gets a little bit of a pain in the butt a bit, of ordering a pizza or whatever, is the apps that you order some food, right? And then I was ordering an app, and then I was calling to order a pizza, and then this is where my job is. If I were working, is where it's in danger anyway. I could lose a job anyway. Because technology has replaced that. That's a con. And then you have, robots working on fast food. That's another con. Another con would be a concept is self-driving cars going crazy. And then self-driving cars going crazy, that's another thing about constant technology. Self-driving cars going crazy, you look at the movie called The Car. The car is a possessed car, and then ran over people, and talking about that thing. It would say one movie more familiar about flaws of a glitch of self-driving cars going crazy is Christine. Christine, in what to expect about the flaws, self-driving cars going crazy, try to ran you over, is the 1958 Fury would be Tesla going crazy and crashing. Now, this is related to the movie Christine. I mean, if like they have remake Christine, it would be a computer glitch or something like that. I mean, this is also what it is. It's also Christine is just a step to one thing before we go to the Terminator thing. Terminator is robots getting to Skynet and everything like that. You know how it is. This is the cons of what technology and what else? AI. Put it AI, like AI is crazy out there. Um, the concept of all things that I said that we don't have to look on the positive on the negatives, but the pros are is this everything. So I believe in one thing. There's some things that are kept old school, okay, and the Apple thing or the things that you could find it. There's some things old school. Let's say locks. Okay, the hotel locks have a card, whatever, but combination locks, I mean, they could go wrong. Doesn't matter if it's Schlag or whoever makes the lock or even master. The batteries goes out, I know, and then this is where it goes wrong. It goes wrong because I have to struggle it. I'm just keeping it old school. I mean, better safe than sorry, keeping it old school. But the cameras, the video cameras and all that stuff, I know. I mean, CCTV cameras appeared for years and years and years. I mean, like for the home and everything. Like now you could have Ring. You have all of these other companies that they home surveillance. If like keep homes safer. And I am very proud that where it meant to be, that you look at out, like you're seeing what's in the house, what's in the neighborhood, who's going within your house or anything like that. We were feeling more secure with these type of cameras because when we're going out of town, it says, oh, you left, and then you have that peace of mind. Let us know who's going to break in your house or whoever it is. At least something that we all know. I mean, going the way of the Jetsons most likely is a way to have. It's like basically, let's just people depend on a dog or whatever the case may be in all these sort of things that keep us safe. Yeah, a dog. I know the big dog, like a German Shepherd or something like that. Those type of dogs are like scare burglars, scarecrows. Like you have scarecrows to protect the crops, and dogs like that scare away burglars or something like it. I don't know how safe would be a dog, but most likely surveillance cameras like that you could go out of town, you notice it. Oh, that this guy is getting in or whatever, that they have packages and all that stuff, and most likely there's things in so many ways that the cons would be most all right, but there's one dangerous or anything. I believe that there's some things that keeping old school. Cash is king. Why cash is king in this scenario? Like you could expect everything to go easy. You could have your Android paid, Apple Pay, or whatever it is, PayPal, Zelle, these type of intervene, but in a way there's always danger of somebody have ID to identity of something like that. But carrying cash in a way that some countries adopt things immediately. There's things that you have to be better to be safe than sorry scenarios, such as things that you go old school. Cash is king. Why? Because you have the money ready, you know what you pay for, and then you're not gonna get tricked because there's things online that you shouldn't buy. Yeah, like for example, a Rolex watch, for example. Online, there any schemes of scams to say that, for example, you get a Rolex watch, you think it's from Switzerland. No, some person in China makes a Rolex watch. A seller in Africa sell it like it's Swiss made, and the idiot that thinks the believer read, oh, that's a genuine Rolex watch. Then they go to the Rolex store and then got ripped off. You know, you could get ripped off online very easily. You're buying high-end stuff that you're supposed to go. For example, you want a Louis Vuitton bag, go to the Louis Vuitton store, official Louis Vuitton store. Or if not, you're gonna get the fake. Or better off, there's some things that high-end branded products that like that. This is where you need to get aware. Yeah, like you're not gonna pay $2,000 for a fake Gucci belt. All right, this is not what intended, and then that's just all of the cons. The cons of scamming people has become very easily. It seems that you gotta go to websites of certain products to buy directly for the manufacturer. For example, you get a brawn. If guys saying a brawn shaver, better off going to the brawn official website, or saying to buy the authentic brawn blades or something. You know, that's just an example. You know, people are getting ripped off left and right, ending up getting some fake blades and fake foils for their shaving machine, right? So that's just one point of the aspects of all things. And however you look like, or however it all takes in all this scenario, is this: technology is great. What Sue think about media tech and all that stuff, and Justine, I mean, I'm glad that you are. And then I have focused so many things is that, you know, you gotta remember things like, remember the Jetsons, remember like Star Wars, remember everything. The most likely what is going on, little by little, we're going to be more like the Jetsons. Are we going to have flying cars? It's just a matter of time that we're going to end up not having flying cars. And with so much of technology inspired things, I hope that one of you better get with the program and stick to what it made you fascinating with the Jetsons and all these fictional stories of where the technology takes you. What you gonna resonate about the Jetsons and about all the movies, TV shows, and cartoons going to that route, telling you that this is it. So I would say this: one day, some of you guys would just thank me for how in the world would even our great grandchildren would say, okay, I remember about the Jetsons. If we could remember the moon landing from a movie from black and white, how we ended up landing on the moon. But just the Jetsons, just point blank that anybody could do this, even to a YouTuber that I admire the most, that I'm thinking of one person in particular, one person that I know within the heart. I notice this. the way you look at things, and whatever you admire. I hope that you come out with either one mentioning the Jetsons, either to the same brain between Jenna and I Justine, talking about the Jetsons and how everything that goes close to the Jetsons might be, or that I Justine herself. Darling, I know you're watching and I know that you notice about it, but also I would love to see Duck Rogers and Porky Pig being the brains in the or like Petunia being the brains or something like that. This is like, I would say, the way I feel about uh putting myself as Porky Pig, because I know, Justine, this is what you love, and this is what the blonde Petunia and everything like that. Why? Because I know the type of animals you love, and put it that way, things would change, and for the better off of all things is that I would say proudly, just to receive the love from you guys, especially Justine, I would act out and say, that's all, folks. See you on the next video on the Embargo Man channel, and I would make up for the next video. And why I ended up like this, why, is because I am focused in one single person, and I know where my feelings go thanks to or a particular person that I'm still reading again for the third time. And this is where my heart goes. My heart goes into finding that person in my interest, that someday I know where I go. I know where I'm going to combine things. I'm going to talk about my personal life soon as possible. Please subscribe, hit the bell button. See you in the next video, and peace out.